Dr. Adriana Popescu here with Triumphing Over Trauma, a new video series I'm putting together to offer people hope and inspiration and practical tools and suggestions for how to work through traumatic experiences. And I'm really excited to have with me today Terry Deakin. Terry, tell us a little bit about your story.
Hi, Adriana. So nice to be here today, and what a fabulous thing that you're doing. I'm really pleased. So I currently am living in beautiful Vancouver Island, British Columbia, Canada, and the traditional and unceded territories of the Nuu-chah-nulth people. And I uh, work as a professional and business coach consultant and have operated a business for 27 years working with individuals who struggle to find and maintain employment. So that's my passion. That's where I live, to support others in being able to overcome barriers and enter into the labor market.
Love it. And so you did not just stumble upon this, right? Early, you came to this through, as many of us do, right? Through your own experiences. And I understand that you definitely had some challenges that you faced in your life. Do you mind sharing a little bit about that with our audience?
I would love to share. Uh, when I was a young mom and when I was a child, all I wanted to be was a good mom when I grew up. That was my goal, to be a good mom. And so when I was a young mom with three children, I had sabotaged my second marriage and entered into drug use, and I became a crack cocaine addict for about a year and a half. With three young children, and lost my job, lost my house, lost just about everything until I was going to lose my children. And my daughter, who was 12 at the time, she was like, "Mom, what are you doing? You can't let this happen to us." And I was like, "Oh my God, what am I doing? This is not who I want to be. This is not what I want to be." And so I had to remove myself from the situation, took myself to counseling. And I was so fortunate to have a counselor who I went to for drug addiction. And he looked at me and he said, "You don't need me, but I know somebody you do need." And he made a phone call to the local women's center and got me connected with a woman who uh, counseled women who were survivors of sexual abuse. I didn't even know I needed that until I went there, and I was like, "Oh, finally, this is what I need." So I had experienced sexual abuse as a teenager, and I had never ever dealt with it. I just kept pushing it down. Like, I can rise above this. I can be who I want to be. And every time I got there, then I would sabotage it. I would just wreck it.
Mhm.
So it took a lot of work, and I still work on it to this day. Yeah.
Mhm. And so it sounds like definitely looking for professional help, right? Getting support from people who know what they're doing, who have maybe had their own experiences, and they assisted you in basically like working through your trauma, right? I'm assuming this was like a
Yes.
counseling type situation.
Yes. So I did some one-on-one counseling with a certified counselor who did um, who her main focus was working with women who had experienced sexual abuse. So that was my primary focus, and I also did a workbook with it, and then I did some group counseling with it, group therapy, and realized that I wasn't alone. I wasn't the only person out there, and that I needed that help and support from other people that understood it, and to be able to rise above and move forward with my life.
And I think so many people suffer in silence, right? Especially
Yes.
with traumatic experiences, especially something like sexual abuse or even addiction, where there's a
Yes.
lot of shame around
Yes.
it, right? And
Yes.
oftentimes people see it as like a moral failing of some sort, or people come to believe maybe like it's my fault that this happened, or I'm responsible for having been abused in some kind of way. There's a lot of shame and blame that comes with it.
there is a lot of shame and blame, and that is, I think, the most challenging thing to get through. So when I started learning about personal responsibility and how it doesn't matter what events happen, it matters on how we respond to those events that will give us the outcome that we were looking for. And I recognized that I needed to change my response. I needed to do something different in my life to be able to overcome what I was working myself through. It was an amazing enlightenment to see that, hey, there is help and support, and there's also so many strategies to help people get through.
Yes. Well, and I think you're speaking to such an important piece of this, which I hear is empowerment, right? Taking
Yeah.
responsibility for no, like it's about really moving out of victim mentality or victim consciousness, right? Like you may not have had control over the original things that happened that
Right.
made you victimized you in some kind of way, you were abused, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's what you do, especially as an adult. Like, what do you do with that? Because if you stay in that victim consciousness, you're likely to set yourself up for additional trauma. You never maybe can get through because you believe that you don't deserve to heal or you can't possibly heal from this. You're forever damaged or broken. And that's a really disempowered stance. And I like that what you're saying is taking responsibility is a step toward empowerment and taking your power back, right?
Yes, absolutely. I realized as long as I kept blaming the abuser, kept blaming the situation, I was never ever going to be able to be better because I was giving my power to that situation. So I needed to be able to, like you said, take my power back, empower myself to say, hey, I am better than what happened to me.
Oh, I love that. Did you find, Terry, that there were any practices or habits or things that became essential in your growth and recovery?
Yeah, so there was quite a few things that I took on, and I still experiment with different things all the time. Reading books is a huge piece of me, and I read your book, which I absolutely loved. What if you're not as effed up as you think you are? It was amazing to me, even after I had done so much work on myself. And Jack Canfield's work, like so exercising affirmations, looking after myself both physically and emotionally.
Mhm.
So just really embracing those things. I've done tapping. I work on meditation constantly. I have I don't think I'm very good at it. And then I think, okay, stop that. You got to think that I am very good at it. And so it's just reframing things and rephrasing things, and I am good at it, and I am learning to practice every day. So um, all of those types of things really help. Journaling
Yes.
is helpful.
Hmm.
Uh, and talking to people, so taking my story out there to the road, that has been really therapeutic for me. Teaching to other people how to not be a victim, how to not blame the things that happen in our lives, to be able to take that power.
Wonderful. And in what ways has your perception of yourself changed as a result of all of this healing work that you've done? Like, I might ask it in the form of, in what ways are you like the phoenix bird rising from the ashes, right? We're talking about triumphing over trauma, and the name of my business is Firebird Healing, right? So I
Yeah.
love this imagery of the phoenix bird rising from the ashes. How are you like that phoenix bird?
So while I was in my addiction, or even prior to my addiction, between the trauma and two marriages that I sabotaged, that I ruined, and I was always blaming everybody else, and okay, it was my husband's fault, it was my neighbor's fault, it was whoever's fault that I got involved in all this stuff and became a drug addict. And so blaming and complaining and just thinking of myself as not deserving. So that was huge for me. I didn't deserve to have anything better than what I was having. And now I think, hey, I deserve whatever I want in my life, I deserve to have it. And I can have that just by taking action, just by doing what I need to do to get there, and trusting in the universe that the universe will provide for me.
And I would think that I mean, one of the questions I was going to ask, and maybe this is, you may have just answered part of it, is, if you came across someone who was currently struggling with some sort of traumatic experience and really in the depths of that trauma, what would you tell them? What would you suggest?
I would suggest that they get professional help first off. I think that is the most important thing, that we're not alone, that there's people out there that can help us through whatever it is that we're going through, no matter what. Being able to talk about it is the very first thing. So having somebody who can understand it, who can give you some strategies and tips on how to deal with it, how to work with it, how to manage it. I think that is the first thing that is most important. And the second is trusting in the universe. Trust that we are worth it and the universe will provide. I even got it tattooed on my shoulder.
Aw, I love that.
The universe.
Oh, this is such an inspiring story. Like, I can feel my heart space opening. Thank you so much for being willing to share that with us, Terry, and for sharing your story, your work, with the world. I often think that what we go through influences so much what we end up choosing to do as our life's work. I know that's
Absolutely.
true for me. It sounds like that's true for you also. If people want to connect with you, if they want to find out more about you and your work, where can they go?
So I have an email address, www, or no, that's my website, www.ineoemployment.com. So it's INEO employment.com. And look me up there. That's probably the best and easiest way to get in touch with me, and send me an email. I love to hear from people, and I will answer everybody.
Thank you for that. And we'll go ahead and put that too in the what is it called? Like, I want to call them show notes because I do a podcast, but the video description, because we're going to put this on
Okay.
YouTube, and people can find out how to contact Terry that way. And thank you so much for watching or listening today. If you've been inspired by Terry's story or by this video series, please help us get it out there. Share it, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like, review, all the things that you can do out there in technology these days to help the algorithms get this information in the hands of the people who are needing it, people who are struggling right now and need some hope and inspiration. Terry and I have both, come out the other side of it, and you can too. You too can be like that phoenix bird, rising from the ashes and triumphing over trauma. So thank you, Terry. Thanks, everyone.